Yes, so we are talking about ultrafiltration, and then in our explanation, so we have said that the fluid part of the blood is forced out of the capillaries by a process called ultrafiltration. Due to why do we find that those substances are forced out of the blood at the capillary end? One, the pumping force of the heart will force those substances out of the blood. What remains in the blood are red blood cells, white blood cells, platelets, and plasma proteins, those blood proteins. They are large and they cannot pass through the walls of the capillaries. So again, the narrow lumen, the capillaries have narrow lumen, which actually creates a resistance. And that resistance ensures that substances are forced out of the blood. The liquid part of the blood is called the tissue fluid that drains out at the blood capillaries. Then the tissue fluid is a watery liquid. It's a watery liquid that is similar to plasma in composition, but lacks proteins, red blood cells, some white blood cells, and platelets. So those things are not in the tissue fluid because they have large particle size and they remain inside the blood within the capillaries. We have phagocytic white blood cells which can squeeze themselves across. We learn that later. Then the tissue fluid forms a medium for exchange of materials between the blood and the cells. Cells obtain the following. So from the tissue fluid, which substances do cells get from that tissue fluid? 1. Glucose. 2. Oxygen. 3. Amino acid. 4. Vitamins. 5. Hormones. And 6. Mineral ions. Those are the substances that the cells draws from the tissue fluid by the process of, like water is also part of it, through osmosis if it is water, the others either by active transport or by diffusion. Then the cells, inside the cells, waste products are released. So cells release the following into the tissue fluid. Which waste product come from the cells? One is metabolic wastes, and then we have carbon dioxide and urea. These things are removed from the cells into the tissue fluid, and finally they move by diffusion into the blood, then transported to the excretory sites where they are released. The ultrafiltration causes a drop in the pressure below that of the tissue fluid. So the proteins retained in the blood causes the osmotic pressure of the blood at the venule end to rise. This causes part of the tissue fluid to move back into the blood by osmosis. So some part of the tissue fluid move back into the blood. Excess tissue fluid drains into the lymphatic system. Carbon dioxide or carbon dioxide moves by diffusion across the capillary wall into the blood. Remember, it is a waste product from the cells. The remaining tissue fluid drains into the blindly ending lymph vessels and joins the lymphatic system to form the lymph. Later on, we'll look at the lymph briefly. Then the lymph finally joins the bloodstream through the subclavian vein located in the neck region. That's why we have lymph nodes here. Sometimes it swells due to accumulation of the lymph fluid, that is the lymph itself. Now, another thing that I want to remind you, in Form 1, under absorption, you learned that fats and oils are broken down into fatty acids and glycerol. These ones are not absorbed into the blood, but they are absorbed into the lymphatic system. That is the system we are talking about, consisting of just the fluid part of the blood, which is drained out by ultrafiltration at the capillary end. So the capillaries join to form venules, and the venules from the the venules from the capillaries bed join up to form larger vessels that we call the veins. Therefore, when you look at the veins, you find that veins are blood vessels which carry blood from all parts of the body back to the heart, collecting all the blood and taking it back to the heart. They are normally found closer to the body surface. Arteries are deep-seated inside the body tissues, far from the body surface. And one of the features of the veins is that they have thin elastic walls. Thin elastic walls. We are going to see later why is that one important. So if you look at the veins, and then you compare it with the capillaries and the arteries, the veins, they have a wide lumen. They have a wall of 3 layers. The innermost, which is called endothelium, very smooth. Then we have the collagen fibers, and we have the elastic and smooth muscles. That is the diagram of the veins. Adaptations of the veins, very important. Veins have valves. Why are these valves important? These valves are important because they prevent the backflow of blood. The blood may flow backward in the veins, because imagine the blood has come from the heart, gone to your legs down there, and now it is moving back. That pressure from the heart diminishes with the distance. As the blood moves away from the heart, the pressure goes down. So when blood is coming back, it is under low pressure. It can easily flow back. To prevent that, we have valves in the veins which are absent in the arteries. Another characteristic or adaptation is that they have a wider lumen. And this wider lumen is to offer less resistance to blood flow. Blood is flowing smoothly under low pressure. So they need to be wide. The lumen needs to be wide so that there is less resistance. Because if there is resistance, then the blood may not flow back up to the heart. They are located between skeletal muscles to facilitate blood flow during muscle contraction. You will find veins in between the skeletal muscles. Why? When maybe the skeletal muscles are contracting and relaxing. Remember, the skeletal muscles are for movement and support. So that contraction and relaxation, the movement of the muscles, also aid in squeezing the walls of the veins. As the walls are squeezed due to contraction of the skeletal muscles, what happens? The blood it will enable the blood to move forward. We have a special vein. All veins carry deoxygenated blood except pulmonary vein. So pulmonary vein carry oxygenated blood from the lungs to the heart. But all other veins, blood in veins have high level of metabolic waste because from the body tissues and low level of nutrients. Less nutrients, high metabolic waste. The blood in the veins. So one thing you should note, we have what is called renal vein and hepatic portal vein. Renal vein is the one that supplies It is the one that removes blood, carries blood away from the kidney. So renal vein has low level of nitrogenous waste from the kidney. Renal artery takes blood to the kidney. Kidney filters the blood. In the kidney, urine is formed. How is urine formed? Urine is formed from the bone, the waste products in the blood, urea, urine, uric acid. All those waste products are left in the kidney. So, as blood moves through the renal vein from the kidney, it has less nitrogenous waste. Hepatic portal vein carries blood rich in nutrients from the gut. All the blood from the gut, gut means the digestive system, flow through the hepatic portal vein to the liver, where the liver will actually do what is called detoxification. If you have eaten anything dangerous, it is the work of the liver to destroy it before it can release the food materials for supply into the various parts of the body. So in the kidney, or in the liver, sorry, even excess amino acids from excess proteins that you eat are destroyed there. And those are the ones that are used to make urea. So hepatic portal vein has large percentage of nutrients because it transports blood from the digestive system into. So you can see the valves in the veins. This is an open valve. Open valve as blood flows. The closed valve to prevent the backflow of the blood. So blood passing, open valve, closed to prevent the backflow. These are veins. Those are veins. That one brings us to the end of our class. Let us meet in the Google Classroom. Make sure that you copy the notes that I sent earlier. I had sent you all the notes in PowerPoint. So these things are in the notes. Otherwise, thank you for listening.